It must work, you know. You have two choices.
Yeah.
To be skeptical and say this city is impossible.
Correct.
Or to say we must do whatever it takes to actually get it sorted out. Water was a huge challenge.
Let's come to water.
Huge challenge in the city.
Huge.
Do you know why? The example I've given you on the city, being left to its own devices.
Yeah.
But we'd not built the right infrastructure for water. We had only 4 sources of water in Nairobi. Yeah. Kikuyu Springs, done by Wakoloni, 1906. Kikuyu Springs, just here after, it's called Riga.
In our time.
In your time, those days when you're, in your 50s. So Kikuyu Springs,
yes,
6,000 cubic meters from it was the first source.
Yeah.
1928, we built Ruiru Dam. 1956, Sasumwa in Nyandarua,
yeah,
which gives us like 60 million liters a day. And then finally, Ndakaine between 1994 and 1997. That gives us 84% of our water. After that, it went quiet. Until 1994 to 97 when, that's when Ndakaine was done. But when it was done with a vision of a population of 2 million Nairobians of 2002. How many are we now? 7 million.
In the daytime.
In the daytime. And that's when, most services are sought.
Yeah.
So in total, we have 525 million liters of water coming in a day against a demand of 870 to 900 million liters a day. The first thing we did, which I promised in the campaign, was to make sure the Northern Collector Tunnel is completed.
Yeah.
It had been stuck. You remember President Mwai Kibaki talking about it, those politics around it.
Yeah. Is it done?
It's done.
Is it working?
We've completed the Northern Collector Tunnel. It's just waiting for commission. The water is coming in. There are places that have never received water that are now getting water.
Like where?
Karen, areas in the Ruta. There are places in South B that have never gotten. People are confused, like, what do we do with this now? And if you ask them, they'll tell you, yes, it's coming.
But there's still water bowsers in some neighborhoods.
There's still, because it has only added 140 million liters. Remember the gap between 525 and 900. So we've got now 140 million extra. And so the rationing program will ease up. Those who are getting it twice will now probably get 3 to 4 times. And I had to do a lot of reforms in Nairobi Water in terms of how they're structured. I changed the entire board. I put a new team that is there because our non-revenue water has been extremely high. The areas where we had to even concrete the pipeline, we asked government, as well, and our colleagues to help us with police. There's a water police. I found a lady at Long Airport North Road, what looks like a very innocent kiosk. If you go in and then go down, she has a pumping station, 16 pumps. She's giving water to flats, and also she's Nairobi Water and Kenya Power in one.
No.
Yes, and so you see like Langata, the water issue had been the pressure coming from the Kibra line. We did the line. It had always been through there, and so we concreted it, and then gave them now water properly with the social connections. We did another line through Kungu Karumba Road, the Langata Link Road. But now we, I think the last 2-3 weeks, agreed to do a tender where the water will come through Karen. So it comes through Karen, comes to Bomas. There's a pipeline through there, the Langata barracks, into the, for the people of Langata to get water. For the first time, they will get it. It must be done. You see, I'm talking about things that I'm seeing and doing every day. Now, once that is done, we need another extra supply of water. And so we've negotiated with, again, partners, the Korean government. And they've committed $100 million. Unfortunately, with the structure of government, I can only get it through the National Treasury because counties can't borrow directly. And that discussion is going on. The $100 million will help us do 2, Maragua 4 and Northern Collector 2. That will give us 180 million liters of water. I tasked my engineers at Nairobi Water, I told them, guys, can you guys configure something? So in Gatundu North at Ngevu, where we do our water treatment, we lose 30 million liters daily through the filtration backwash system. So they've engineered a reverse backwash system at just 2 billion that will give us 30 million more. So that comes around, you'll get close to 220, additional. And there's Karemeno that has been done. That's supposed to bring us 50 million liters going to Ruiru. Fortunately for Nairobi, Ruiru was not ready for that, so it will all come in. We're talking to our industrialists about water recycling. Some of the companies can't do that because of the nature of their products. And I'll give you an example. Of the 525 million liters, KBL consumes 100, a fifth of it.
Wow.
And so we keep telling them, look, you guys, Anyway, Nairobians still drink that water later.
In other forms.
In other forms.
Yes.
But if you look at them and East African bottlers, Coca-Cola, they take a huge chunk, Kenyatta University. And so we still need to provide that because they create jobs for us. But once this one for Korea is done, within the next 2 years, the issue of water deficit will be complete.
In Nairobi?
In Nairobi.
There'll be no...
But then we must also again then plan for the next 1 million liters of water. Because the demand goes up by 4% every year. And so it's not as simple as give us water, we want water. It must come from somewhere. The works must be done. Right now they're doing the final test for turbidity, And so a problem happened during NMS time and, around that time. We dug so many boreholes in the city. So many boreholes. So the water levels went down. I had to do one in Kibra and went 400 meters,
As
down. As opposed to 200, 250. Now, the ones in Eastlands, and it's good for the public to know, the fluoride level is high, World Health Organization says you must do 1.5 parts per million as a maximum. Some are upwards of 6, 10, and so fluorosis, the fluoride level. And so our kids start getting brown teeth or, problem with their bones. And so we're saying, look, let us provide this water and do dilution because the boreholes were sunk and they're there. And so I just want to assure the people of Nairobi that I'm on it. I'm on it. I understand the problem. I've seen that challenge. We have to be patient enough to make sure we get the resources, build that infrastructure, so that we solve this issue.
There's some people who say that life was better in Nairobi under NMS. I'm sure you've heard that. 16
billion pending bills, and I've heard that. You see, there's what you do for the show that looks good. But then when you do a transfer of functions, you must leave a county better off than you found it. That wasn't the case. Until today, we're still grappling with the pending bills. That's why Central Park is not open, because a contractor is still on site from the Ministry of Defense. That is why all these hospitals that have been done without equipment, without nurses and without doctors. And so we must fill that gap. That's why a lot of these suppliers who did honest work, and it's really wrong to give somebody a job and not pay them. They did honest work. But around that 15 billion, their money is stuck. We agreed with the Auditor General that this will be sorted out at the executive office of the, at the national level.
Yes.
Because the function was transferred. But I still see these people, they have families, they have children. They did honest work, for most part. But they have not been paid, And so I don't like it. I don't like it. But it's a reality we must grapple with. And I think it's something we must never get back to.
Absolutely. Governor, I want to take a break, come back, talk more about... okay, there is one thing that you have